Welcome back to Beyond the Diamond. I am Dez. That is Josh. From behind the camera to on the camera. B-Dog is still at the iHeart 790 studio filling in. And the Houston Astros have run some games. They dropped an ugly one last night against the Angels 7-9, but taking 2 of 3 against the first place Brewers. Obviously sweeping 4 against Oakland before that. All was right in the world, and then Framber Valdez went rogue.
Sir, he went rogue. What was the Fast and Furious thing that Brian sent you?
Yeah, it was
Dom Toretto.
Dom Toretto's like, Dom Toretto's gone rogue.
Dominic Toretto just went rogue.
That's where it drops in right there. For a weekend where the entire city had no power, the Astros had power offensively, and they had power offensively for about 4 innings yesterday, going up 6-1 early.
Yeah. I thought we were going to cruise from there.
Got ugly quick. Kind of like that storm, just like out of nowhere.
Oh my God, yeah.
And that was like the similar, like the parallels of it. It was just like all of a sudden,
about the same time, halfway through the game.
Halfway through the game, 45, like took about 45 minutes in all, and the destruction of it.
Yikes.
But the leading thing, and obviously if you're tuning in, you've consumed it, you've read it. Framber Valdez in his post-game conference talks about, hey, Yonder had a really good game calling pitches. In the 5th inning, he just went against the game plan.
Yeah,
he just gave that information up too. Which
is wild.
You'd have to torture me to get that information. I'd just be like, oh yeah, they put some good swings on it. I thought something was up in the Joe Adell at bat. He hits a 2-run or maybe 2 or 3-run home run opposite field, and he immediately looks back to the dugout.
So he hit a solo home run. That was right after like one of the 3-run home runs.
Okay, the solo.
It was a 3-run home run, and then like the next pitch, like I think it was first pitch of the at bat, Joe Adell just jumps all over it.
If you go back and look at the clip, he hits, immediately turns back to the dugout, and like if you play the game, it's just telling you. It wasn't like getting your boys fired up. It was like, I told you so.
He's like, I told you. Yeah.
And so you had that. You had Framber hit 99 miles an hour. And from 2022 to 2023, we saw what Framber can do. 2023, the second half, he was obsessed with throwing the ball hard. Mm-hmm. He lost his sinker depth, and he got drilled. I feel like
that's something in his head.
Like I think that happened in the 5th inning. He got so nonchalant. He got so bored. He got so whatever analogy, adjective you want to use.
Yeah.
He reverted back to trying to throw hard, and that sinker went from moving like this to like that, and just finding barrels.
Big league hitters can hit 99 if it's not moving, and if they're looking for it.
And so originally I was like, man, someone's got to be tipping. Someone's got to be doing, and I think maybe there was some tipping there. I don't know if it's on the catcher when he was setting up. They had something or something on the pitchers because it continued throughout the game. Montero threw a ball that was at Zach Neto's eyes, and I've seen Zach Neto hit tanks all through his college. He got bat the ball. It was crazy. He was like one of the first guys up in the draft when he got drafted. Like I think in less than a year, he went from college to the big leagues.
Already, yeah.
He can hit, but he gets on top of, almost tomahawks a ball out. The outs were loud, and I was like, man, something's got it. Because for 5 innings, they were lost.
Yeah,
the Angels
they scored
offensively,
1 run on a double. I think
the first 3 batters of the game.
Get him over, get him in, like sack fly, like yeah.
And so that was like, all right, someone needs to tie something. That's just baseball. But after the game, Framber just gives that information up, and then Yonder talks about, he's like, yeah, I've never had that happen to me before. Like I've never had experienced that, and he kind of like almost felt like he was gaslit in his answer. He's like, maybe I should have spoken up or do something. I was like, well, I mean, obviously, yeah, but like,
it's not on you.
That's not on you. Don't expect that. I mean, maybe like, hey, if a vet says like, hey, this is what we're gonna do before the game.
I will say that is where like I feel like and this is not a knock on Yiner at all because I think he's doing great and he's learning, but I feel like if Carantini was catching,
that doesn't happen.
I feel like he goes out, he like fucking yells at Framber or throws a ball like 95 back at him, like kind of
Crash Davis thing.
Yeah, like
fastball.
Yeah, I don't
you
think
let the batter know. He acts, and then you go out there and be like, see,
Yeah.
you listen to me. Yeah, I think you're 100% nails on that. And
mean,
it's a
how
growing
often-
experience.
How often do you give up 2-3 run home runs in the same inning?
How many times does Framber give up multitude of home runs in a
That
game?
was the most
Never.
home runs he's ever given up in his career.
He's a ground ball, sinker ball pitcher that thought he could throw 99, and that sinker went from vertical movement to horizontal, and that's the result.
That's the biggest thing. His, and he should know this. I mean, his strength is, I think 97 is probably the fastest you want to throw his sinker.
Yeah.
Because he still has the movement and the speed. But then all of a sudden he's like, I want to be Randy Johnson. He's like, I want to pump that thing in as fast as I can, and it loses all movement.
And this is where, and I don't want to harp on Framber. There's a lot of stuff for Framber that we could talk about at a happy hour one day that we'll throw, but he just pitched his ass off a week ago.
Yeah.
And when the team needed it, and he bared down and did. This whole week is just the Framber Valdez experience. You had him step up when he needed to because we had no pitching. Everyone was burnt in the bullpen, and he goes out and probably could have got you 8 if it wasn't for Elias Diaz balk call. That kind of derailed him. And then you have this start where he's cruising. He's just playing with his food, and all of a sudden he tries something different, goes rogue, and gets embarrassed.
So it's like he got us on a roll, and then he took us off the roll in the same week.
Yeah. And look, when the offense hangs up 7, you expect to win, especially with your ace on the mound. But the problem I have with Framber Valdez, because if you're on Astros Twitter, Astros Facebook, Astros Instagram, consuming your content here or on the radio, print, wherever it is, it's always been, oh, well, that's just Framber being Framber.
Yeah.
And there comes a time and point where you have to grow the fuck up. Because it's Framber being Framber. It was cute 2 years ago. It was cute 3 years ago, right? He's 30 years old. You got to grow up. Like, you can't.
He should be the veteran ace. Outside of Verlander, he should be the veteran ace on the team that's like teaching the young guys how to play the game.
And I go back to and the conversation of Dusty's leadership and Maldy's leadership. I think it falls back on Hector Neris's leadership with the bridge between the Latin guys and the American guys in that bullpen and in that pitching room, because all you heard when Hector Neris was here was the stories of how, you know, he took all the Latin guys out to dinner all the time. He was always kind of that bridge guy. He was almost like the Yuli of the pitching room. He leaves, goes to Chicago, gets the payday. So now there's that vacuum. So where my problem is with Framber being Framber, it was cute 2 years ago. It was like you do that thing when you're like 11 or 12 and everyone's like, oh, that's cute. Now you're 14, 15. You're just an asshole teenager now.
Yeah.
Like, it's not cute anymore. You have to grow up. And so I'm not harping on him anymore because when he's on, he's one of the best pitchers in the game.
Yeah.
And when he's playing with this food, laughing on the mound, I maybe this was just a fever dream, but I swear and we're trying to find it, and I asked you about it. He's in the stretch, and he has his hand on his knee. He's taking the sign, and he just has the ball, he has the ball, and he's just sitting here fidgeting with the ball, and he's just smiling and laughing, and he grips a curveball, comes in, and throws a curveball. And I'm like, if I'm a batter, I'm fucking looking right at his hands.
Yeah.
I'm seeing what he's gripping before he throws.
Yeah.
And so, like, he just
got a little comfortable.
Yeah.
He's like, just because he's so good, because he's like, he can go 7 innings, 1 or 2 runs in his sleep. So I think he just a little hubris, a little like,
100%.
this is the Angels. Like, I can go easy. I can try stuff. And you quickly forget these are major league hitters. They might not be the best team in the game, but these are major league hitters. Some of them are, future stars. Some like Ohapi and Neto. Like, some of these guys are gonna be very, very good baseball players. This isn't like
it's not. You're not playing a video game with your little brother. Like,
these
are
like
big
you
leaguers.
have to keep your foot on the gas.
That inning led off with a ground out, 104.5 miles an hour ground out. Adele home run 105.6. The O-Hop guy 109.7 exit velo. Kevin Pillar, single 100.2, single 100.1 by Taylor Ward. Nolan Schunel, home run 95.7. Of all those hits that inning, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 were over expected batting average, over 850.
I mean, that means they're hitting the ball.
They're hitting the ball hard. So, look, I get it. Like it, and this would probably be compounded more if the Astros didn't run off the wins they have.
Oh,
and
yeah.
look, we weren't expecting them not to lose a game for the rest of the season, 100% not. But it's
just
games like this where you play with your food.
Yeah, you're losing those games that you should have won. Like you had
100%.
you had a 5-run lead in the 5th inning. Like you should have won that game.
100%. You play with your food. You play with everyone watching, everyone listening. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment. We've been saying it on this podcast. There's times where this team reverts back to old ways and starts playing with their food, and they get caught with their hand in the cookie jar. And so that's just kind of where I am. The offense banged out 7. Altuve with the tank.
Offense looks great.
Yeah. And the big guys getting going. I think he had a 3-hit night? 2-hit night?
You're on a 2-hit night.
Balls hit the other way. Yarnier looks good. Looks like he's about to get rolling. Yeah, that Joe Adell robbed him in the 9th.
Yeah.
So Jake Meyers.
Can we? Brian's not here to defend himself.
Brian isn't here. This is our podcast now. Yeah. This is the Jake Myers.
Jake Myers.
We Were Right podcast. Presented by Sweet Green and Big City Wings.
He is amazing at bats. I mean, if Brian wasn't so blinded, he would be watching Jake Meyers right now, grinning ear to ear. He's had quality at bats. He's hitting the ball hard. He's playing good defense. He's doing exactly what you want from your center fielder.
I mean, his baseball savant page is if you just put that percentile up and like guess this baseball player, and you went to anyone in the
they'd be like
Mike Trout, Ohtani, Acuna. No, it's Jake Meyers. 885 OPS, slugging 530 with OBP at 355, batting average. I know B-Dog's not here. 290 batting average.
Yeah.
The guy's hitting the cover off the ball, and his outs are loud.
He hit one almost dead center last night.
Yeah. So you have, all of a sudden, you now have a plethora of outfielders. And
it's almost a problem.
It's almost a problem because now you have Chas McCormick, who's going to be activated today. If you stay tuned for the Sweet Green Health Report coming up next segment, we'll go through Chaz's kind of rehab to where he is today. You have Joey Luperfido, who I believe you have to keep up.
Like, you have to, yeah.
I think Cabbage will be sent down.
I think so.
I think you have to keep up Luperfido. And look, I get it. The argument of like these young guys need these at bats, they need these reps. I think you can grow in the show. That's a bar. That's a bar.
Yeah.
I think you can grow in the show, and you see the bromance between Luperfido and Breggs all over socials.
Yeah,
they have their own thing, the Blood Brothers thing. They have their own little second base double celebration. I think with Tucker now in right, you have Jordan's probably just going to be your DH right now. I think you roll out Chaz in left, Jake in center, Tucker in right. You have the big guy DHing, and you have Luperfido as your 4th outfielder.
Yeah.
Because Dubon's is now your swingman in the infield. You have some
that's a deep
flexibility.
Bench.
You have some flexibility now.
That's what you want. I mean, what they need to do. I mean, sure, you want Joey to get as many at bats as possible, but you also need to win games. At the end of the day, this sport is about winning games and getting to the playoffs and winning the World Series. To do that right now, you need the deepest bench you can get because we're about to go into, and we are in the middle of a long stretch of games. I think Thursday is our only day off like this whole month, basically. So, I mean, you need as deep of a bench as you can get to get through this, get through the summer months. I don't think unless he just starts playing awful when he gets his chances, I don't think there's a reason why he should be in AAA the rest of the year.
I like that take. The other thing and the last thing on Framber Valdez, because I pulled up his baseball savant page, his hard hit percentage is the highest of his career so far, 49.2%.
Wow.
His peripherals look better than what his actual numbers are, his xERA and all that stuff. Obviously, results aside, you need that.
Yeah.
Last year, Framber Valdez, 24.8 K percentage. In 2022, arguably one of his best years ever, 23.5. He's at a 19.9 K percentage this year.
Yeah, he's not missing as many bats.
Correct.
They're laying off the curveball down.
Highest exit velocity against him, career high this year. And he's given up only 6 barrels so far. So that's interesting. And probably all 6 were from last night.
Yeah, it might not be updated from last night.
But it's very interesting looking into these numbers. But if what we want, what the city wants, what the fans want, to have another parade on Louisiana Street, you need this guy to figure it out. And that's the last thing about Framber. You need him to be Framber Valdez for the aspirations you have this year. Yes, there's this conversation about trade talk. Do I think Framber Valdez is a Houston Astro in 2025? I don't know. I think they may move him before ARP3. There's a lot of money going to that 31-year-old arm. It's really hard conversations you're going to have.
Wow. Okay.
But I do believe he's not pitching just for himself, which Framber loves Framber. Go look at his Instagram. He's pitching for that next contract.
Yeah, agreed.
So time's not on his side in the sense of when he's a free agent at 31, I believe, you're going to have to show some results because of what we've seen in this market and with age and with pitchers, the owners haven't been signing. They'll be like, hey, we'll wait you out. Look at Snell, look at Montgomery.
He might, yeah.
So you need to get your shit together now and show results and show that, hey, I can do this and I'm just not Framber being Framber. So that's a big thing looking at these savant numbers.
One last question about last night's game, because I saw a lot of people arguing about it online. Chandler tweeted about it. In that 5th inning, do you pull him earlier?
I would have had my when they went to, I tweeted out, hey, go talk to your pitcher, and then took another full batter before Miller went out there. I would have been out there 3 batters before any of that derailed.
I feel like, yeah.
I'm probably keeping Framber in there and be like, hey, you got to fucking wear this. Like, because it happens so quick and so fast, you can't spin someone up.
Well, that's the problem with home runs.
Yeah, and I think it was like 3 and 7 pitches. It felt like
hit,
MLB
hit,
The Show.
Home run, hit, home run. Like I mean, I feel like after the home run and then another hit and then maybe another hit, like I feel like, I mean, this is the point where I've been holding off my criticism of Joe. I think he's figuring it out. I'm not anywhere near like being ready to be done with Joe. I think he's figuring it out. I don't blame a lot of the issues so far this year on him. But that's a situation where you have your guy Framber, who everybody knows, they should know, like has mental issues with the game and gets caught up and gets frustrated. That's where I want Joe to, I don't want Miller going out there. I want Joe going out there. And I want Joe saying, like, almost verbally slapping him in the face, like saying, like, figure it out. Like, what are we doing? Like, refocus. Go get back on the game plan. Listen to Yiner. Like, whatever he needs to say to put his foot down and show some authority, because I don't think most of the players on this team fear him, I guess, or see his authority as end all be all, as it kind of should be for a manager. I mean, obviously it's not a dictatorship, and you know he runs it his own way, but at some point I want my manager to get the guy on the mound to get on game plan or take him out. You know what I'm saying? Like, there needs to be Framber shouldn't feel like he can just mess around in a 5-run game and blow it.
Yeah,
like, he shouldn't feel like he can do that.
It happens. If it felt like the storm, it just happened so quick and
Yeah,
frustrating. You're just like, what the fuck
it's
just happened?
tough to avoid it. But
I do think on Joe, and there's some criticism here, I think he's a little bit too slow in the early innings to make a move. And maybe it's just hey, we got to weather this storm, because if I keep going to these bullpen guys by
yeah,
August.
I think he's so
like,
scared about burning the bullpen.
Right. But then you're also in this catch-22 where you let this game get away from you. And so, like, it's just a little bit slow. I think on the back end, he's been, I mean, even when we were losing in bunches, it was the right call. Like, I'm going to Abreu here.
He was making a lot of smart moves.
In the back end.
Yeah.
It just felt like a little bit slow on the front. And so, and it's one game. And look, and the last 2 weeks have been great. Like, this is the Astros we expected. This is, and you're going to drop games over 162. It just felt obviously like this one got away. But being able to bounce back tonight with Christian Javier on the mound is going to be paramount to even the series and then go to that day game to take the series. But you got to get one tonight. Hell or high water, you can't drop a series to the last place Angels. You have Oakland, then you have that big 4-game setting at Seattle. And so you have an opportunity to get into I think the Astros are back into this, but you have an opportunity to really like, hey, we're here.
Oh,
like,
yeah. I mean,
like a week from today going into that Mariners series, like you have a real strong opportunity to go into that series and be like, even if we split, we're in a good spot going into June. So
speaking of that series, which hopefully that series we should hopefully be within striking distance to be battling for the division. That's my hope. We go into that series at least 4 games back to where if we could sweep and we tie it up. During that series, the 29th
next Wednesday
and 30th, we will be doing a 24-hour live stream where we're going to be watching both games. Come hang out with us. Come watch some ball. We're also going to be watching NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs.
Stanley, yeah. So
there's a lot going on.
We're going to do our annual 24-hour stream.
Yeah.
The 29th, starting, I guess, at 7 p.m. I don't know if we have official start date yet.
Yeah, game is at 8. I'm sure we'll figure it out.
So, yeah, that's when.
I hope to be taking the division on stream. That's my goal.
If you're new to the program, new to the team, we've done 24-hour streams in the past. I think this will be our 5th one.
Yeah, I think so.
5th 24-hour stream. You can watch all of us descend into madness. It's rough. It's rough. It's not fun.
If the Astros lose both those games, that's going to be a rough 24 hours.
Yeah, come hang out. That one's gonna be fun, especially the new office breaking it in. But shifting into tonight's matchup, you have Javier versus Griffin Canning.
Yeah. On paper, this is a game they should be able to take care of.
Just like last night. So you got to take care of business. You don't play the game on an Excel sheet and on a piece of paper. You got to go out there and produce and get results. And so the Angels are coming in tonight with momentum. They definitely stole one last night. So they were fired up in the dugout. They're Ron Washington have those guys pretty amped. So punch them back in the mouth tonight, and then go for the series win on Wednesday. I'll probably be at that day game. So we'll probably win that one with me there. And
I hope so.
Yeah, I think one of the big things before we go to the health green, Sweet Green Health Report is just you have this pocket where you needed wins and you got them. Obviously the pocket's still going with 2 more with the Angels and 3 more with Oakland. You've done it on Kyle Tucker's back, who's been his
MVP.
I thought it was going to take about 225, 230 to sign him. You're looking at 260, 270 now, probably.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think
and that's the price of the brick has gone up.
Yeah, especially if he keeps playing
crazy
defense too.
Literally, I think he's top 3 MVP candidate right now.
Currently, yeah, top 3 for sure.
I mean, with Soto, I think Soto and Judge are going to steal votes from each other. I think you have Gunnar Henderson now in Baltimore. It's crazy great. And then you have Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
And you have Jake Meyers, who obviously we talked about as well. But Altuve's kind of he had a little Altuve slump for him, which
still
the
like
league,
1 for 4.
Yeah, like the league would take that in a heartbeat with those results. You have Jordan that's been in a slump that's coming out of it. Had 3 hits or 2 hits the opposite way. You have Diaz, who's been struggling in the month of May. That looks like he's getting it going. So you get those guys going. You get Bregman going. Bregman's going to hit a home run tonight. He has great BVA against
Oh
Griffin
yeah,
Canning.
you took Bregman.
I
As
took
your,
Bregman as my prize picks. 2.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Demon.
Check out
pays
our,
like
our
5x.
price picks pick of the day. Use code Apollo.
Look at you.
We play a little game every day where we pick a different
Chef's table.
athlete and we try and cook up. Currently, Paula Stoney is winning our monthly standings, but we're coming for him.
Yeah, it starts with Breggy tonight. So I think we may have our guy Chas McCormick back in the lineup tonight.
You think he's back? He's starting tonight, like back in.
I mean, he's not here to sit on the bench.
Is he
so-
here?
He's here.
Okay.
So I think he'll be activated. So this is your Sweet Green Health Report, obviously powered and presented by Sweet Green. Use code Apollo50
Yes.
at checkout on your mobile app to get 50% off. 50% off in this economy? You kidding me? Go get it.
No, that's
right
crazy.
now.
That's like
Do it right
going
now.
to get a very filling
Go get a steak
big
bowl.
steak bowl for
Get the
like
garlic caramelized steak bowl
cheap.
for 50% off.
Yeah,
Use code Apollo50.
that's like what like I don't know how much it costs, but
I think you're looking around $10 for a big ass bowl.
I think it's less than that. With 50% off.
50% off.
Damn. Yeah.
So go get the new garlic caramelized steak bowl. You've seen it on Jeremy Pena's Instagram. Josh cooked that edit up. And so Chas McCormick's back. He had the
Chaz is
hamstring.
back.
He spent some time in Sugarland and then in Corpus. Got his ABs. He looks like he'll be activated today, the 21st. Who else do we have on our list?
There's Urquidy.
I think he's one rehab start away.
Yeah, I think he's one. I think we could see him in Oakland potentially, or the next series after in Seattle. I think he joins on the road trip.
Okay.
I believe that he's going to try and make one more start, which his last one was Saturday or Sunday. So that'll put his next start probably Wednesday, Thursday, and then he could be back in Seattle or next Sunday maybe. Then you have Luis Garcia. He's still expected mid-season. He seems to be. I saw something about how he's a few weeks ahead of Lance. So we could maybe see him in June.
And Lance has been pretty firm on his July, August. So I guess we're
Yeah.
looking at late June, early
Yeah.
July for Luis. If
I think
Luis is
we're
ahead of
looking
him.
mid to late June for Luis and July for Lance. That'd be getting those two back would be huge. Some minor league injuries. Bryce Matthews has a lower back tightness. He's the number 4 Astros prospect. Zach DeZenzo has a wrist injury. He's currently on a rehab plan. Not sure what's going on with that. And Penn Murphy, he's expected in August. He was the Astros picked him up. Oliver Ortega had elbow surgery, but he is expected back in July. So right around the deadline of that month of July, the Astros are going to have about like 5 pitchers coming in as reinforcements. And the bullpen and in the rotation. So really that's going to give you a chance for the cream to rise to the top. Whoever's still performing well in the bullpen stays. Whoever isn't, they get sit down or maybe even traded. I think there's going to be, I think the roster on August 15th is going to look vastly different comparatively. I think it's going to be like 15% different than what it is right now at this moment.
I think it's a good thing because competition breeds success. You have guys that have been in the show, has success in the show, coming back. Also, it's a shot in the arm for all these arms that have been logging a ton of innings. Seth Martinez, Jim Crane,
Taylor Scott.
Uncle Jim, you need to get Seth Martinez a ranch somewhere because
he needs something.
He needs a gift, like just under the table type gift, because this guy is eating innings at a rate that is outrageous.
He got a ring, right? He was in 22.
Yeah, I believe so.
Good. He deserves one. Good.
So maybe a weekend stay at the Floridian, Uncle Jim. Get him something, because Seth Martinez is just going out there and just eating and not just a 10 ERA eating innings. No, efficiently and effectively eating innings. Very, very good. Him and Taylor Scott.
Scott have been everything in this bullpen.
And
we were all worried about middle relief going into the season.
And we'll segue into that. Let's just wrap our Sweet Green Health Report. Make sure you use code Apollo 50 on your mobile orders to get that deal. Shout out Sweet Green. Shout out their new garlic caramelized steak bowl. But the Seth Martinez, Taylor Scott emergence.
Yeah.
Phil Maton and Ryan Stanek, obviously friends of the program. We're very thankful and partial to wanting them come back.
Yeah.
But to everything they've done for us. But when they left, I was like, damn. Neris leaves, Maton leaves, Stanek leaves. Like, what are we gonna do here? Middle innings, like that was the big thing. Seth Martinez and Taylor Scott have just stepped up, and not like a hot streak and get a card on MLB The Show for your tops now. One good week. No, this is steady. Sustainable.
Yeah.
Their baseball savant pages are sexy. Taylor Scott's baseball savant page is probably one of the sexiest in the league. They're just going out, and you see the confidence. They're getting outs. And I think with Seth, it all started with that bases loaded, 1 out, Simeon against the Rangers.
Yeah.
He gets a double play, gets out of it, and then cruises. And he's just been steadfast.
I think one of them allowed like a 3-run home run late in like a 9th inning after they were trying to go 3 innings in a row. And like that was the only, without that, they'd have like a 1.5 ERA or something.
Crazy. Seth is a .7 WAR for a reliever.
Yeah,
awesome.
Insane.
2-2, 2.30 ERA. He's pitching 21 games, 27 and a third innings, 15 strike. Not a lot of punchies. Whip at 1.098, so he's keeping the people off the bases. You take that. It's exactly what you want.
Exactly what you want.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. You got to give – sometimes, you got to give Dana props on the – sometimes the moves you don't make are moves in itself.
Sometimes the best move is no move at all.
And you saw that with the decision of letting 3 championship arms walk.
Yeah.
Go get the bag 100%, but they had a plug and play game plan and it's worked.
I mean, to be fair, this bullpen, like roster construction, was golden. I mean, everybody criticized it, and everybody still criticizes it, but the biggest issue in the bullpen has been the big 3.
Yeah.
And what are you gonna just not have elite arms? Like that's exactly what you want to do.
3 all-stars are gonna eventually be 3 all-stars.
Yeah, like I mean, so the middle relief was the question, and they've been perfect.
Taylor Scott, 1-1, 1.96 ERA, 23 innings pitched, 28 strikeouts, whip at 1.087, a .5 WAR. His savant page is all red, like.
Yeah.
And this is for a guy that was a journeyman and his entire career just trying to stick on a big league squad. Can you guess, excluding this year, how many career innings has he pitched in the show? No, like in a season. Like, what was the most he's pitched?
Not counting this year?
Not counting this year.
So I think I'm cheating a little bit because I remember looking it up earlier this year. I'm going to say 21.
It's a good guess. In 2023, he threw a career high 17 2/3 innings.
Oh, he's already passed it.
He's already passed it.
Yeah.
Wow. Everything is career highs now. And the biggest thing, looking at his page, his whip was very high. It's like a 2.5, a 2.1, a 2.8. When you're whipping, if you don't walks, hits per inning pitched.
How many base runners are you allowing?
You give up an inning, essentially. He's down to a 1. And shout out to the Astros. Shout out to RD. They saw something. It's the year of the changeup. He's one of the changeup merchants this year. Same thing with Seth. So when you get these guys in the middle, bridging it, obviously the Montero experience, he's been good. He's
done exactly what you
very
want
adequate,
from him.
and that's all. I mean, obviously the contract aside, very very adequate. So shout out to the middle relief guys and Brandon Belak too. Obviously.
Can we pour one out for Brandon Belak?
Friend.
He absolutely poured out. He absolutely held this bullpen down. He ate so many bullets.
He had to eat so many shit sandwiches. Brandon Belak
he came into so many games where the Astros were losing by 6 runs and gave you like 3 2/3 of like 1 to 2 run.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't
someone has to do
ace
that.
level stuff, but he came in and bit the bullet and looked solid. I really hope he gets a shot in the Oakland rotation, and I hope he does solid, not against the Astros, but against other teams. And
keep getting those.
I hope he gets a bag.
Yeah,
I hope he gets a bag.
Big league paychecks. And then we'll end with this: the elephant in the room, the conversation at hand before the Framber Valdez experience. It looks like Jose Abreu is going to be back with the Houston Astros this week, if not the following.
First thought, just spit it out. What did you think when you first saw that?
Why?
Yeah. That was it. My exact reaction was, why? Was there some sort of a deal where there was like it wasn't written, but it's like
I'm only spending a month down there, and that's
like
it.
I'm not gonna spend a month because like I was expecting. Oh, he's going to be doing all this work. He's going to be playing all these games. He's going to be tweaking. He's going to be doing like drive line shit. Like he's figuring out his like timing. I feel like he like just took 2 weeks off, played in a few rookie ball games, and is like, all right, I'm good. And I'm like, I mean, if that's what he needed, and he comes back and rakes, awesome. But if he comes back and continues to struggle for like another week or so, like this is a problem.
That's where I'm at, because you've put yourself in a corner to where we're gonna jam him in. Spot has already said when he's up, you got to see where he's at. Like he's gonna play. You've had John Singleton step up. Granted, he's not a 10 WAR first baseman. He's been
replacement level, which is like
above replacement level.
Above replacement level, which is better than way below replacement
and has
level.
made some scoops that I don't think Jose Abreu
defensively
makes.
He's been great.
And so you have a guy that, and yeah, maybe platoon, but he's also a reverse splits guy. So when you say platoon, like now you're just kind of fucking him over because he's a better reverse splits guy, and now you're putting him in a spot where he's not as good as a reverse split. So like it's just a weird party line.
It's tough.
You have, and I don't think Jose Abreu is like a bad locker room guy. I think he's a great locker room guy actually, and I think everything that we've been told and everything that's been said out loud, like guys universally love this guy, and he's a vet and he's great in the clubhouse. So I think that's a net positive. But the net negative, if that's the actual word, net negative seems like a double. Feels like my English teacher's gonna yell at me.
We don't go here to play school.
I mean, we don't. It feels like it's now or never. I feel like if you waited to,
well, because you already spent the bullet.
You had one golden parachute and you used it.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, you landed on the ground. Now you're getting back in the plane that you just had to use the parachute on. Yeah. So like, and you don't have a parachute.
The plane better be fixed.
Yeah, the plane better be fixed.
Yeah.
And so I felt like this timeline just got sped up. And I think looking back, we should have realized it was sped up when Bagwell was living down there.
Yeah, he's like, not going to be down there for that long.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, and Grant, maybe we look at it in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and it's positive, and he's hitting the ball and whatever, or they make a hard decision, they DFA him, and maybe it's better than like, hey, it's now or never, you got to go, and let's not drag this thing out. It's results based.
I do like figuring this out now against teams that the Astros should be able to beat in May, June, rather than he spends a month or two down there, comes up in tough series in August when we're like fighting for the division and cost us games. Like, I guess I'd rather figure it out now, and maybe it was just a rest thing that he needed, rest, and then maybe
hard reset,
working in the cage for like 3. I mean, if they really were in the cage, like working on this stuff for like 4 days straight with Hall of Famer, like they should have been able to figure it out, I guess, in a couple days.
And I'll say this, and I think you just kind of like reversed my entire course because I just had like PTSD flashback. We've been to West Palm for a month.
Yeah.
5 weeks.
Time
moves slow down there. 1 week feels like a week. Yeah. And so maybe these last 3.5, 4 weeks felt like 4 years down there for all of them. So I get it. Like now I'm kind of like thinking, I was like, man,
it feels fast to us.
I was like, you go to Bolay every day. Like you go to the ballpark. Like you're doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, with all this, all these efforts, and you have Bagwell and you have other coaches there, all focused on one hitter for even like 8 hours in one day or something, they should have been able to figure it out in that amount of time. Like that should not take. The only thing I was thinking it would take more time is just timing. But if timing is not the issue, if it's not a mental like timing thing and it's more of a mechanical batting stance thing or something, then they should have been. I guess they should have figured that out in a week.
And I think we'll know. I mean, they may send him to AAA. They floated that as well.
I would appreciate that.
I think
more than.
I think the flip side is not like Jose Abreu is like some like 20-year-old up and coming prospect that you poured a lot of money in, but also has like he's not like a Johnny Manziel. He's not like he's doing all these off the field things. Not in the sense of just like all the circuit. There's a circus around it because of the money that was tied in and the results. There's not a circus of
it's not an attitude.
He's not at Clarkwood, causing a scene. He's not out doing all these different things. He's literally just not performing well. And so obviously the Astros and the front office, they don't make moves because of the fan base and what everyone else is saying out loud in the media, whatever it is. But this is a game that is based on failure, where 7 out of 10 times you're a pretty damn good baseball player when you fail that many times.
Yeah.
It very much feels like the first time he goes 0 for 3 or the first time he strikes out, the first time he gets out, the pitchforks and everyone is going to be at the gate. And I don't feel like you're setting him up for success. And look, I'm not going to cry over a millionaire getting $19 million this year that we won't ever see a penny of.
Yeah.
But I'm on a level of just like
human, though.
There should be, when you're integrating him back, there should be a better plan than just being like, all right, go play.
Yeah, that's why like I would love it if you spent like a week in AAA.
But if he sucks down there, like, what do you do?
I mean, even if he sucks, I feel like it's getting his timing back, and maybe he's working on something. Like, I still would trust that over facing some
backfields.
Yeah, facing some rookie ball pitchers, hitting a double and being like, I'm back.
And maybe you got to go to the backfield and face all these kids are throwing 100 miles an hour now. They just have no control. That's why they're in the backfield.
But yeah.
Maybe you just go down there and maybe you just got to study abroad. Maybe you just got to get out of here for a bit. And then you come back, you come back home, you're like, it's not like the coffee in Italy. You should have seen the Eiffel Tower, man. Like, you just change your entire perspective. Yeah. Like, that guy. Everyone knows that person out there. Like, they just do that study abroad and they like come back. They're like, what Americans cook with these days, Like,
I can't believe you eat this processed crap.
I mean, you gotta walk. I walked everywhere. I didn't take these cars. Now I'm sounding like John B. But
we'll study abroad in West Palm.
Yeah, in West Palm. So, all in all, I mean, we'll find out at the end of the week. But the Astros need to get it going. It starts tonight with Christian Javier versus Griffin Canning.
They need to win the series.
It's a must-win game tonight.
They can't drop a series to the Angels.
No.
At this moment, they cannot do that.
Mike Trout, less Angels.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, less Angels.
Yeah,
you cannot drop a series. So that's where we are.
Well, you know where I might go to watch the game tonight?
Dude, you're getting really good at this. You're getting really good at this.
Where do you think I'll go?
You're going to go to Big City Wings.
Yeah.
Houston's Wing Joint, Apollo's Wing Joint. They are up and running at all their locations except the Marquee due to the power outage. Go out there, support them. They were offline at a few stores over 4 or 5 days. So support local business.
Go support your local business. Houston, born and raised.
Go to bigcitywings.com to find the location nearest you. Today is 2 for Tuesday, 2 for 1 special. Ooh. 10 wings, you get 20 wings. I mean, that's
crazy.
Crazy deal. Yesterday was $1 chicken tendies.
Yeah.
Chicken tendies for $1.
I was upset I missed on that.
Burger Wednesday tomorrow.
I might go to Burger Wednesday tomorrow.
Thursday, 2 for 1, executive nuggets, boneless. And then you go into the weekend with obviously all the drink specials, the limited time menu. I had their crawdaddy wings about 4 or 5 times and absolutely love it. So go to Big City Wings, support local business, and also go to Sweet Green. Use code Apollo50 on your mobile orders. Get 50% off. 50 on your orders, and get the new garlic caramelized steak bowl. And we will be back Friday.
Yep.
Friday to recap this series and go into a big road trip.
Potentially, I was going to talk to you and Brian about this. Potentially a live show Friday. I was thinking.
All right, let's do it.
We do
Live show.
our first live show. So
Live
look
show
out
Friday.
for that. Probably be
Done.
around 11 a.m. on Friday. So mark your calendar. If you're at work, you need to like put the headphones in and put the phone to the side. You sneakily watch us.
Yeah, tune in.
We're do a first little live show on YouTube and Twitch.
Love
So.
that.
All right. Well, thank you for watching and listening to Beyond the Diamond podcast. I'm Josh. That's Dez. Brian will be back Friday. We will see you next time.
Peace. Love you guys.